Thank you very much to Alistair. I'm now wearing a slightly different hat where I myself have to give a particular talk. So while I'm waiting for my slides to come up, I would be remiss by not telling you exactly who it is I am. My name is Pillay, and I work at the university in the Office for Institutional Planning. But I wear another hat where I do work in the Department of Sociology, Anthropology, and Incorporating History. So I am a sociologist, and there we go, the tech is working with me. So the particular talk that I'm going to be sharing with you is entitled People Are Living There. Being a sociologist, we look at the study of how people engage with society and how these particular engagements and interactions create particular sets of phenomenon and possibly certain sets of social issues in different environments. The particular research project, which I happen to be the senior researcher on, is entitled Moments in Time, and there are 3 particular field guides that we will launch on the 16th of October, and these field guides has taken us to 87 areas, towns and dorps around the Eastern Cape. There are 12 research interns who span from different parts of the arts faculty, from sociology, anthropology, some from history, and even those from geography. And then we also have our fine arts students representing doing work for us in graphic design, and then some also doing work in fine art by sketching. And I've got one of the research interns, Andi Swenzenze, who's with me. The title of the project is called Liberation Heritage. Now, if we look at the concept of liberation, it is meant to free us. On some level, it is meant to emancipate us. And once we are liberated, we are meant to enjoy some fruits of that labor, to enjoy, to feel free, and particularly to enjoy spaces and places, and to enjoy and have a sense of achievement. When we look at what heritage then means, heritage could refer to different spheres. The first one is the natural heritage, and that's the particular focus of the thought that I'm going to give to you in a moment. We then also have something which is called the built environment. This particular building we're in forms part of a built environment, and when they write the history of the former UPE and now also the former Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, this particular auditorium will have a certain texture, will have a certain narrative, a certain story towards that form of heritage. We visited a host of museums and parks and different sites, spaces and resources that are able to be enjoyed by people. Why liberation married to heritage? Some of these particular sites and spaces were not allowed for all people in South Africa to be equally enjoyed or even accessed at a particular moment in time. Now you will notice the images that I put some of the words on depict some of the particular coastal areas that we visited within the Eastern Cape. These would comprise of some areas along the Sunshine Coast and the others, predominantly those found in the Wild Coast region. So what on earth is sociology? The previous speakers who came on gave you scientific, technical, what we refer to as hard sciences. Within sociology, they often, or within the arts or the humanities, they particularly refer to us as dealing with the soft sciences. So sociology in its basic form refers to people watching. When you came into this particular space, you scanned the room. You tried to find a particular place to sit. You tried to see who was sitting where. And that then informed where you would take your seat. That very observation that you made is in essence a sociological practice. So by its broad definition, it is the study of the development, structure, and function of human society. So we interrogate how people live. We interrogate what people do while they are living in those particular spaces. But taking it one step further, as sociologists, we also look at what behaviors creates certain social issues or social problems. If we look in terms of ocean sciences or marine or maritime life, we then marry a certain subsect of sociology, which is referred to as environmental sociology. And this then looks at the relationship between society and the environment. Wherever a human being exists, we will certainly find challenges. And I'm certain you would agree. Some of you might look at it singularly, as in terms of your love life, or in terms of your colleagues or your work relationships, those personal relationships. So if we look at some of the research that many of our colleagues have been producing over the years, and more creating heightened forms of awareness around what we are doing to our oceans and our towns around oceans, we can certainly find that the social issues are certainly increasing. If you were to divorce yourself from a pure environmental discussion, you will look at broadly the behavior that individuals are depicting, and you will certainly tell me that people are fighting more, that human beings are becoming more greedy. We have less resources and we have more people. So the supply and the demand is certainly creating far more social issues. You are society. So by saying that you are society and that you live in this world with your eyes, hopefully, and all your senses wide open, not wide shut, you are by virtue all sociologists. You live in this world already, so you are able to give an opinion on this world. You engage in this space, so you have a particular vested interest in both preserving the heritage and in both liberating the heritage in a particular way. For this particular exercise, we refer to it as the natural heritage. I said to you, you are sociologists, and now I'm even going to add another notion. There's a particular methodology which you already practice. It refers to as autoethnographic. That is you fully immersed with your head, your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, all your senses wide awake in the spaces that you find yourself in already. So if you go on vacation to a seaside resort and you are able to fish, I can't fish. Well, I did it when I was 5 years old, and I'm far beyond 5 now. Some of you might be fishing people. So if you catch a particular fish, a quota, a quantity, do you have the right permit? Is it a particular size of the fish that you must catch and release? All right? Is it used for commercial purposes? So you look at areas where you find yourself and you ask yourself some of these very easy questions, things that you've pondered and considered, I'm certain, on your own as well. So an ethnography refers to a long-term study of a particular place, space, and phenomenon. So you are already doing this. So when you leave here and you've been, all our colleagues have shared the different areas of their research and interesting work that is already being done at our university, you can look at it with a slightly different lens and ask yourself, so what role do I play in that? How guilty have I been? Do I know about that? So have I stumbled upon a stromatolite and not know that this is something quite rare? So you've got to immerse yourself, and quite naturally, and live in a way that is conscious and live in a way that is emotional to who it is you are and the environment you find yourself in. In terms of heritage, someday somebody maybe in your life will die, and you might consider inheriting something from that particular individual. We hope that it is something of worth for you. So that is a form of heritage that is handed down to you. if it was a particular cup that was preserved and polished and put into a case, and it was valued and insured, that particular artifact was in fact preserved. You could consider it a form of heritage. It is the very same concept with our natural environment. Those are forms of heritage that if we do not consider preserving, nurturing, researching about, writing about, publishing about, and sharing with younger generations, will become non-existent and even extinct. The condition of these forms of heritage would certainly come into play of how aware we live with these forms of natural environment and how much advocacy we place on these particular sets of heritage. Am I done? Yes, oh, I'm done. I teach, so I continue talking. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, it is up to you to live with your eyes wide open in order to preserve the natural forms of heritage for it to continue for future generations. So, thank you.